Hi. I hope everybody is doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining me from. I wanted to make this video to tell everyone thank you for your prayers, your condolences after the loss of my grandmother. I haven't really been online like that, just kind of popping out whenever I need to. It hasn't been easy at all, because especially for those of you who know me and or knew my grandma, yeah, she was my person, just like my mom, and it's been really difficult. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you and tell you that I love you and I appreciate you all. It means the world to me to have you in my life, and remember to hug your loved ones and tell them how much they mean to you, because you just never know. You never know what when that time will come that you have to say goodbye. I haven't really been okay. You've probably seen me kind of around online, being posted by friends and things like that, because I am doing my best to not go into hermit mode or go into my shell and disappear, even though sometimes I just kind of want to hide away because of how I feel. But I'm trying not to do that this time, because I definitely did that with my mom and my stepfather, and I'm trying to be more conscious about my feelings, and but also not shy away from them. I don't think I've been doing a good job at that, honestly. Because there's a lot going on. For those of you who don't know, Mitchell and I are getting a divorce. And it is turning out to be harder than I think it should have been. But instead of him and I working things out and talking and figuring it out, whether, like, to go either way, like, even before it came to all of this, I quickly recognized that I had to, in a way, rip the Band-Aid off, because he refused to even talk to me. And so instead of things being between him and I am having to fight for my rights, fight for equality and fairness against not only him, but also his parents. The three of them has decided to come against me, to try and break me based on things I know that aren't true, because their son is not the type of person that takes accountability for anything. And so the whole victim mentality and all of that, that is, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been dealing with for years. And you know, the love was there for me fully, unconditionally. And I know I posted about us throughout the years. And we seemed happy and all of that. And at times we really were. But when it came down to the day to day, things weren't so great. And I endured horrible treatment for most of it. Emotional roller coasters, hot and cold treatments, silent treatments, aggression, you name it, I probably have gone through it, more than likely. I'm not going to go into major details, but yeah, it got so bad to the point where instead of there being accountability, he would slander my name and try to defame me to people who knew me, a lot of people who did not, to get them to think differently about me and or make judgments on something that they have no idea if it's true or not. Or they know me, and instead of having a conversation with me, they made up things based off of what they think they knew or what they thought they knew. And basically I came to the conclusion that he just wanted yes people in his life, and or people who just enabled his behavior, and just went along with whatever he said. And unfortunately it worked for some, probably for a lot of people that I don't know, or I have a pretty good idea do know. And not one of them has contacted me to see if I'm okay, to see what really happened, to get information that would match up to what he's saying. And so because of that, the amount of darkness and just attacks that I've endured, and them playing games with my livelihood, my life, and the safety of me and my babies, my fur babies, The recent judgment came back from the provisional hearing that pretty much determined that my soon-to-be ex-husband gets to take possession of the house that we share until the divorce is final, even though he has not lived there for months and has not done anything for that house for months, or even throughout the entire time that we've been there. The only things that he really did were things that I had to tell him to do, or we had to argue about doing, or whatever, you know. It got pretty bad at times. And so, that being said, with that judgment, that means that I have to move out of our marital home in less than 30 days. With my 4 fur babies. And the amount of love and support that I have received in, like, throughout this process, this journey, has been truly amazing. And I have received offers of allowing me to stay with different people, which I appreciate deep down, like full on, like no words can express how much that makes me feel. But I couldn't do that, you know, with my babies. I wouldn't want to inconvenience or burden anyone, because it's not just me, it's me and the 4 of them. And so the current situation calls for me to move. And unfortunately, he abandoned us with no money and no food, and I have managed to stay afloat with the help of a few people, but it's been incredibly difficult, to say the least. And I received word today that due to the marital debt that he's trying to get out of paying, I can't even qualify to get a mortgage for a house of my own. And so I have to look into possibly renting a house that will accept my babies and me. And I have to do it quickly. So the last week or so, well, 2.5 weeks, have been trying, to say the least. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. Like, I'm doing things, I'm trying to focus on things that I can control, you know? Because what I did not expect in marrying this person was that he was going to be okay with watching me drown. that he was going to be okay with me going without even the necessities, or even that his family would be okay with me being broken homeless. And they have multiple rental properties, Airbnbs, whatever you want to call them, around town that he can easily move into temporarily so that we both can be safe. All 6 of us can be safe. But that is not the case. And so here I am, trying to figure it out. And being incredibly hurt and angry and uncertain about tomorrow, the next day, the rest of this week. I haven't been okay. I haven't. Because I married for love and married him willingly. No one forced me. He didn't force me. I didn't force him. I made a promise. But I had to break that promise because it wasn't good for my health. Literally. And since he's been out of my energy, because he hasn't been around me 24/7 like he used to be, I haven't been as sick as I have been over these past several years. And I realized that being with him was killing me slowly. And I'm not exaggerating, because before I met him, I was pre-diabetic. And before people start to speculate and be like, well, you're a diabetic because you eat crap. No. Sometimes yes, but no. Like, quick Google search. What goes into being a diabetic? Like just Google it. I'm not a doctor. But there are a lot of factors that go into diabetes, a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. And a few factors is, of course, your nutrition, but that's like bottom of the list. But stress, lack of sleep, can play factors as well. And I read a book that said just 3 days of no sleep or irregular sleep can really like disrupt your rhythm, and keep you from relaxing and going into that REM sleep, that deep sleep that you go into for recovery. And the stress, I just can't, I don't even know where to start with that. But we've all heard stories, we've all, heard videos of what stress can do to your body and trauma and things like that, and grief. Can't leave that out. And before I met him, I was pre-diabetic. And in exactly 1 year and 6 months, I was type 2. I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. And it progressively got worse and worse and worse. And it wasn't for lack of trying. It wasn't for mindfulness practices, meditating, praying, working out, like all of that stuff. Like it wasn't for lack of trying. But it was due to my body being in fight, flight, and or freeze this whole time. And yeah, I'll get a break because things would be good at times. But looking back on it, those were just moments of, I'm going to do just enough to keep her here because I know she's not happy. I know she wants to pull away. And at the end of the day, I think he knew that. And a question you might be asking is why? Why didn't I leave sooner? Well, why doesn't any person who deals with abuse leave sooner? Fear. Fear, stability of if I leave, then where am I going to go? Kind of like I am now. I didn't leave because early on in our relationship, we were still living separately. And we were renting at the time, and we would spend time at my place, I would spend time at his place, stuff like that. But my fur babies, the older three, would be in my house full time. And so, I would be there, I would be in his place, whatever. And there were a couple days that I was spending more time at his place. I mean, we took care of the babies and, things like that, like making sure they had what they needed and, all the things. But I was spending a lot more time at his place. And so I was like, you know what, this isn't right. Like I need to go home. I want to go home and be with my babies and things like that. Instead of him saying, you know what, hey, I get it, call me later, or I'll go with you, I'll take you home, all the things. As I was grabbing my stuff to go home, I hear him crying. And that alerted me to go and check on him. And when I walked in there, he went into the master bedroom closet where there was a giant safe in there. I mean, this thing has to be about 5 feet tall. One of those really heavy duty ones. And he was grabbing a crossbow, a real crossbow, like a smaller-ish one, and loading it. And he threatened to kill himself because he thought that I was going to leave him. And this was early on. And in that moment, I knew that especially looking at how I'm being treated now, that if I had have left and he took himself out with that crossbow, that there wouldn't have been any questions asked. There wouldn't have been any an investigation or whatever. It would have been, it was her, she did it. Even if my fingerprints wasn't even on it, like I wasn't even around, my life would have been over for something that he chose to do because he couldn't regulate his emotions enough to understand that I had obligations elsewhere. And so we talked about it, and I really got on him about that. But it was also like, what do I do? And so I decided to stay. He promised me that that would never happen again, and thankfully it never did. But in the back of my mind, I still had that vision of, shoot, what if he had where I would be now? Because even like after I filed for divorce, I filed for divorce because I found out that he was stepping out, and he stepped out and he stayed out. And instead of him being a grown up and talking to me like a man, he let his little girlfriend message me from his phone saying that his doctor told him to stay away from me to protect and to because of his mental health. I probably would have believed him, believed the text message, but it was written with no errors. He didn't know how to spell well, so I mean, yeah, punctuation, all the things wasn't really his strong suit. So I probably would have believed it, thinking that it was from him, if I didn't know the difference between how he types and how I type. And so I knew that that message wasn't from him. But then I also, like, take that out. I probably would have believed him if we didn't have the same doctor. And I'm pretty sure that our doctor did not say that. So, again, involving people who didn't matter, who don't matter to us as a couple, us as a just us individually, our lives together, all of that. Like, nobody knew the day to day, like no one unless we told them. Well, I told them, because I'm not the type of person to lie, and I don't see the purpose of it. You know. And so yeah, it just, I wouldn't have been able to leave safely. And I tried for years to suggest therapy and or medicine or whatever, or whatever the solution could have been. And it took him years to do it. But when he decided to, he thought that after a couple sessions, it was going to be fixed. He was going to be fixed. Our relationship was going to be fixed. But no. And I told him that it wasn't going to be effective if he wasn't open, honest, and transparent in talking to his therapist so that they could truly help him work through whatever it is that he needs to work through. Because at the end of the day, I honestly feel like his struggles came from something that happened in his childhood or didn't happen in his childhood. I have no idea. And he grew up to be an adult who projects things from that time period on the person that he says that he loves, or said that he loved, instead of talking to the person or people who hurt him. But again, everybody needs to be able to take accountability for what they've gone through, what they chose to do with themselves, and what they're choosing to do right now. Because at the end of the day, you have a choice to continue to hold on to what you've gone through from your childhood, from high school, from college, from whatever, fill in place here, section of your life here. But I had to deal with a lot of that projection. And I'm still dealing with it now, because why am I the one having to leave our home and not him? I don't know. I have no idea. And especially with it being a marital property. And we told them that, well, I'm not going to get into that, but either way, it's just, I have to leave with nowhere to go. And he gets to roll in there like, yeah, thanks for taking care of my house. And we moved in on the same day. It's our house. And you might be asking, is my name on the house? No, it's not. But in Indiana, that doesn't matter. If you're married in that house and he did not have, and your partner did not have that house prior to you guys getting together. And yet, here we are. I know, my mind knows that I'm going to be okay. Because I am a child of God. I'm a believer. I know that there's a reason for everything. I know that God puts his hardest trials on his children that he knows can handle it. But just because that's the case, doesn't mean that I want to. I don't want to go through this, like, I know it's not my choice, but I guess I was naive in thinking that regardless of what happened between him and I, that at the end of it, we both will be okay. Because that's what he promised me. That's what I promised him. And honestly, that's what's fair. We don't have any kids. We don't have any major assets between us. So this should have been easy, right? Well, when you open the door for other opinions and other interferences, then things get messy unintentionally, or I guess in this case intentionally, because yeah, he opened the door. So I'm not one to do this, but if you can, please say a prayer for me and my fur babies, that we can find somewhere to go where where we will be safe and sound. And if you feel called to help in any way, whether it's, financially, prayers, hugs when you see me, boxes, I'm gonna need them, or even know of any rental properties near you or that you know of in general, please let me know. I don't have much time, so I'm on a time crunch, so any help that you are able to provide will be greatly appreciated. I don't deserve this, but these are the cards that I have right now. And so I'm gonna do what I can to survive. And make sure that my babies are safe. Because if it was just me, I would be fine. There wouldn't be any question about it, But it's mostly them. And I'm not going to give them up. I shouldn't have to. So yeah. There's no obligation at all. But if you find it in your heart to help, it would be greatly appreciated. And the prayers are definitely needed right now. That's all that has kept me afloat right now, is the love that I have received from those of you who knew and know about what's been going on, and who, you guys have literally gotten me through this, because my body has just been in a bunch of pieces, because all of this is happening 3.5 years after losing my mom and my stepfather, and then my marriage failing, and not for lack of trying. I sacrificed a lot while with him, and here I am fighting for my life, and now having to give up my home base because of him 2.5 weeks after losing my grandma. So I haven't been okay. But I know that by me being a child of God, being a believer, that I just have to have faith. And I've been standing 10 toes down in my faith, because I believe that he's going to make a way, that God is going to make a way, because he got me this far. There were several moments in my life where that could have been the end for me. Throughout my life, it could have been the end for me. And it wasn't. Because I know that I am meant for more. And that this situation is just a bump to the promised land for me. And there's going to be bumps along the way, but this is a major bump in the road for me. And I'm doing everything that I can to claw my way to the other side and be strong and know that I have the strength of my mother and my grandmother and my ancestors and God and just everybody walking behind me from heaven. And then those of you who have shown me such love and care without strings, without consequence, without just without complaints. I love you all so much for being there for me. And just know that when I get on the other side of this, I'm going to throw a big party for us. But no, I want you to know that once I'm on the other side of this, if you ever need anything, I will not hesitate to be there. Because that's the type of person that I am too. So again, thank you for the condolences for my grandma. Please keep me and my family in your prayers. And I pray that all of you are okay too. And if you're not, I'm sending you big hugs from me. And know that I'm here. That even though I'm going through all of this, I'm here for you too. And we're going to get through this together. So again, if you feel called to help out with any information on rental properties, or if you want to give financially, I will put my CashApp in the description, in the comment section. Or if you just want to send me a private message just to send me love, all of it is greatly appreciated. It's gonna be okay. I know it is. It has to. I have been through too many things for this to be the end. And if those things that I've gone through in the past didn't take me out, this isn't either. This isn't going to take me out either, because I am meant for so much more. But I have to get through this first. Whatever that looks like, I have to get through this first. So I'm going to continue to focus on what I can control and pray and meditate and focus on my mental health, my physical health, my overall health, and love on my babies and let them know that mommy's got them and that we're all going to be okay. So yeah, let me get off here before I lose it and start ugly crying. So again, I love you guys, and thank you for loving me.